Looking for something outside the norm? Well, I think today's film definitely fits the bill. Yes, it's considered to be one of those divisive analog-style films, but wait, don't go running for the hills yet. Let's talk a bit about the utterly unique and disturbing Dooba Dooba. Plus, it's fun to say. Dooba Dooba. Dooba Dooba is available on demand on Fandango at Home, which was formerly Vudu from Dark Sky Films. It's directed and written by Ehrland Hollingsworth. Not necessarily a found footage film, Dooba Dooba is more of an analog horror spliced together from different media and taken from different footage filmed from security cameras set up around a house that serves as this film's setting. While there are many ways to explain analog horror, my understanding is that there's more of a focus on setting a dread-filled and atmospheric mood than anything else. Once called art house films, now they've earned the new moniker of analog horror, as the grainy VHS style to the film stock makes it all feel as if it was some video whittled together sloppily in some school editing room, but with the main intent to cause unease. Elements of narrative and story are not so important in analog horror, and sometimes not present at all. So there are often long shots of static imagery and liminal spaces from odd and empty angles. Where found footage conveys a sense of anxiety with its shaky camera that serves as the viewer's eyeball, analog horror is more of a static fly-on-the-wall view, letting a horrifying image really sink in. I was one of those who really wasn't bowled over by Skinamarink or We Are All Going to the World's Fair, two more well-known films that have been nestled snugly into the analog horror subgenre, as I feel they were much ado about nothing, leaving me with the feeling of time wasted. There is a patchwork sense of play in analog horror, as if the maker of the film really wasn't familiar with modern forms of editing. All of that can be applied to Dooba Dooba, a new film I would categorize as an analog horror, but the gigantic difference between Dooba Dooba and films like Skinamarink and its ilk is that there is an actual story being told, along with the moody atmosphere and dreadful ambiance. You've heard the story of Dooba Dooba before. A young woman, in this case Amna, played by Amna Vega, is hired to look after a girl named Monroe, played by Betsy Slig, by an employer that she's never worked with before. Monroe's parents, Taylor and Wilson, played by Aaron O'Meara and Winston Haynes, tell Amna that Monroe is a special child who experienced trauma at a young age when her brother was killed by a home invader in the middle of the night. This, of course, affected Monroe to the point where any sound made throughout the house startles her and causes her to have panic attacks. So in order to ease the stress, anytime someone walks around the house, they have to say Dooba Dooba, to which Monroe responds Dooba Dooba. This eases her anxiety. But the parents ensure Amna that Monroe will not be a problem. Anyway, the entire house is hooked up to an extensive security system, so every room in the house is being recorded as a safety precaution. With a promise to be home by morning, the parents leave and Amna begins her night with Monroe, and let's just say that night doesn't go as smoothly as planned. Now, analog for analog's sake with barely a narrative, like the aforementioned Skinamarink, drowns me with pretension. It was a chore getting through that one, but the difference between that film and Dooba Dooba is that despite the fact that this is a 1,000-piece puzzle of a film in terms of medium and format, there is a cohesive story going on. It makes Dooba Dooba all the more watchable because, though the babysitter's story is old school, the format presents it in a fresh way. You feel like a voyeur watching this film, as Monroe's parents have rigged every room with hidden cameras. Seeing Amna go through moral dilemmas and uncomfortable moments feels invasive because the situation has become so intense that she's forgotten the cameras were on. This gives the viewer a feeling of unease as the strange things intensify. It also helps that the acting is really strong. Amna Vega and Betsy Slig are fresh faces, completely confident in their roles and selling the drama that is unfolding. Monroe is a handful, and seeing her shift from vulnerable little girl to diabolical monster is unsettling. And as this shift occurs, Amna is so likable that it's hard not to root for her to get out of this nightmare. The smaller roles of the parents are great as they subtly hint at the oddity of this particular home, offering clues that something is off, but still keeping a pleasant demeanor. Some of the film's most disquieting moments come from the parents' conversation with Amna that occur at the beginning of the movie. Once the other shoe drops in Dooba Dooba, the film becomes an unsettling nightmare, mixing old PSA clips and student educational films with flashes of torture and barbarism. I think the finale of Dooba Dooba is destined to break you as much as it did me if you take a chance on this one. The analog format plus an actual narrative makes all the difference in the world in making this film chilling to the bone. This is a unique and brutal film. Dooba Dooba is bound to leave a mark on your psyche. Don't let the analog label scare you away. Just let Dooba Dooba scare you. So what about you? Do you think you're going to dive in and check out Dooba Dooba? And how do you feel about analog horror? I'm still not sold on the whole subgenre. Let me know your thoughts on this and other things down in the comments. Please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're